Good morning this Friday, the 16th of December, and thank you for joining me for the final Bell Direct weekly wrap of 2022. I'm Grady, a market analyst with Bell Direct. Let's take a look back on the year that was and what's in store for 2023. It's been a big year on the M&A front, with BHP spending a large chunk of the year bidding and rebidding for a takeover of Oz Minerals to expand into the battery metals market. The $9.5 billion acquisition places BHP in the right place at the right time to capitalise on the global decarbonisation and electric movement. Shares in the big banks rallied this year after the RBA began raising Australia's cash rate from May 2022. Investors piled into the banks as each passed on the rate hikes to home loan customers, while barely increasing their term deposit interest rate for customers' savings. Notably, markets expected a rise in doubtful debts as interest rates increased. However, this may be more the case in 2023, when it's reported that 2/3 of the fixed home loans taken out in the year of the pandemic will move to much higher variable interest rates. Data breaches were an unfortunate yet common headline throughout 2022 as hackers targeted several big Australian companies, stealing and selling the data of customers to the black market. Optus, Telstra, Medibank and Uber were among the companies that suffered cyber attacks, with Uber's attack accounting for 57 million customers and drivers' details leaked around the world. Commodity prices were rocked this year by Russia's initiation of war with Ukraine, as well as China's harsh COVID restrictions and the global movement toward a greener future. The price of thermal coal is up 144% in 2022, while uranium is expected to hit $100 per pound in the near to mid-term. The rising price of commodities drives tailwinds for oil, gas, uranium and other commodity producers heading into 2023. And to end the year, the Albanese government is proposing to place a $12 per gigajoule price cap on domestic gas prices amid the soaring price of energy both locally and around the world. This notion has been met with uproar from the Australian gas industry, as the Australian Petroleum Production and Exploration Association said the gas price cap will force higher prices for households and businesses because it will kill investment confidence and reduce future supply. The price cap will hurt the likes of Woodside, Santos and Beach Energy, to name a few. Looking forward to the year ahead, reports are optimistic about China reopening in the middle of the year, which has boosted oil and iron ore demand outlook heading into the new year. With market stability expected after a turbulent 2022, investors may have a little more appetite for ASX debutants through IPOs, including Gold Hydrogen debuting as one of the early newcomers in January, tapping into the 2022 darling sector, energy. Gold Hydrogen is set to debut on the 13th of January 2023 with an issue price of 50 cents per share and hopes to raise $20 million at IPO. The company proposes to explore, appraise and develop natural hydrogen, which with Petroleum Exploration Licence 687 following historical exploration in South Australia that uncovered natural hydrogen gas while exploring for oil. And all eyes will be on the technology sector after a beaten down 2022 with rising interest rates. We need to know, will this high growth tech sector feel some much needed relief in 2023? Locally, from Monday to Thursday this week, the ASX lost 0.12% as investors were awaiting the release of the Fed's interest rate hike in the US for December, which was unveiled on Thursday in the form of a 50 basis point rate hike in line with market expectations. The technology sector rose 3.51% this week as a slowdown in interest rate hikes is anticipated across the board, which is a positive thing for high growth stocks like technology companies. Energy stocks rallied again this week, while materials stocks were sold off amid a decline in the price of certain commodities, including oil and iron ore. The winning stocks across the 4 days were Smart Group Corporation, which led the ASX 200 winners, climbing almost 10% despite no price-sensitive news out from the company this week. While Block Inc and BrainChip each also added 9.7% and 9.4% respectively. And on the losing side, it was a tough week for lithium companies this week as the price of lithium dipped, with Liontown Resources falling 11.5%, while Core Lithium and Pilbara Minerals each fell 10.21% and 9.84% respectively. Taking a look at the All Ords, Redbubble led the gains on the All Ords for this week, rocketing almost 21% despite no price-sensitive news out of the company for the week. While Arafura Rare Earths jumped almost 20% for the week after mining magnate Gina Reinhart increased her stake in Arafura Rare Earths through a $43.37 million investment. G8 Education also added 11.11% this week after the company provided a trading update. While E-Road tanked 22.41% this week, despite no price-sensitive news out of the company from Monday to Thursday. The most traded stocks by Bell Direct clients from Monday to Thursday were St Barbara, Burrell, Arafura Rare Earths, Bank of Queensland, BHP Group and New Hope Corporation. Investors also bought into MSL Solutions while taking profits from Warrego Energy, Telstra Group and Core Lithium. And the most traded ETFs were BetaShares Australian High Interest Cash ETF, Active Australian Hybrids Fund and iShares S&P 500 ETF. On the economic data front for next week, the RBA's latest meeting minutes will be released on Tuesday, giving investors some insight into future cash rate hike decisions heading into the new year. And Australia's housing credit month-on-month data for November is out on Friday. Overseas, it's a building data dump in the US, with US building permits preliminary data for November out on Wednesday. Housing starts month-on-month for November also out on Wednesday, and existing home sales for November in the US out on Thursday. GDP growth rate for the UK for Q3 is out on Thursday, with the market expecting a decline to 2.4%. That's all we have time for today, this week, month and year. I'm Grady Wolf with Bell Direct. Have a lovely Friday, enjoy your weekend, and from the team at Bell Direct, we'd like to thank you for your support during 2022. We are very excited to debut some new themes and content, including our new studio in 2023. We hope you have a wonderful and safe Christmas and a very happy New Year.